let's get started. If you guys want to sit on something, you can. I'm just going to sit on a block to start, or a pillow if you want, or you can just seat on your mat. Legs are crossed. And let's get started. All right, so like I said, if you want to have a strap nearby, you can. For some of the stretches we'll do. And blocks are always nice, but you could use a belt or a scarf or a towel. All right, so let's get started seated, however you're comfortable. Palms can face down on your thighs if you're trying to get grounded and centered. Palms are facing up if you're getting energized and opening and awakening. So closing the eyes gently, sitting up nice and tall. Think of your navel pulling into your spine as we start to get our body in a space ready for movement and preparing. As you're sitting here, I want you to kind of scan through the body. Take note of anywhere you might be feeling tension or tightness. And we're going to work through those spaces. Think of the shoulders dropping down away from the ears, your head's pulling up toward the ceiling. Tuck your tailbone in and down. And just notice the ebb and flow of natural breath here. As the breath comes in and out of the body, notice if it's long and slow, or if it's quick and shallow. Notice the chest as it rises, the belly as it expands. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or pressing your tongue to the roof of the mouth. Allow all of those things to relax. The space between the eyebrows. Notice if you're clenching your eyes. Bring our breath together as a unified group. When you're ready, exhale all the breath out of your body. Everything stale, everything old releases. Then seal your lips. Begin to inhale through your nose. As you inhale through the nose, feel your chest expand, the belly expand, the diaphragm drops down, you make space. Once you're to the top, open the mouth, exhale, release. Feel everything collapse in and push out. Do that once more. Seal your lips, begin to inhale through the nose. Fill up, make space. Once you're to the top, open the mouth, exhale, release. Moving right into a few neck circles. You can leave your eyes closed or open for this. Bring your chin down to your chest, sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders are dropping down and back. Begin to roll out to your right, taking your right ear to the right shoulder. Back of the head meets the spine. Left ear to the left shoulder. As the chin comes back to the chest. Continuing at this pace, it feels good. Continue rolling out to the right side, all the way around. Maybe you stay in one spot for a moment. If you're holding tension there, there's no rush. Maybe you go even slower. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. We don't want to clench them up to the ears. This allows the spine to have space in the neck. Going one more time around at your pace. And once you've gone that one more time, meet me with your chin at your chest, where we started. Pause there, move to your left, opposite way, left ear, left shoulder. Back of the head to the spine. Right ear, right shoulder. Chin meets back at the chest. Continue on your pace. Again, take note of the shoulders. Take note of the jaw. Are you clenching? Are you tensing up? Allow yourself to relax and open up. Find yourself going around one more time. And meet me with your chin to your chest. Once your chin is back to your chest, clasp your hands behind your low back and pull down. As your chin comes to your chest, stretch the back of the neck. If you want a little bit of a shoulder stretch here, you can keep the arms straight and start to lift them toward the ceiling. Palms clasped, just showing it from the side. Chins to the chest, feel that stretch. Remember to breathe every time we stretch. Helps make space, helps oxygenate the blood, opening up muscle fibers and joint space. And relax, unclasp your hands. Bring your head up. Take your right hand, grab for the outside of your left cheek or left temple. Take the left hand down and just gently pull. Reach your left hand out to the left side. You don't want to pull too hard here, just stretch a little bit of the side neck. Now, if you want a little more, roll your palm down so the back of the hand is facing the back of the room. Your thumb is facing the floor. And then take your hand and just go behind the back. Drop that left shoulder down. You can try and get your hand, the back of your palm is on your back. It might be on the low back, or maybe you try and go up towards your shoulder blades. Feel an opening in the left side neck. Pull open here. Left shoulder drops down. Good, release the left hand, release the head. Moving into the other side, left hand comes up, grab to the outside of the right cheek or temple, pull down gently. We don't want to force anything here. Right hand is out, stretching away. Good, feel an opening through that side of the right neck. Now take the palm, roll it so the palm faces the back of the room. Thumb is down. And if you want more, bend the elbow, put the back of the hand to the back. If you want even more, try and get it up toward the shoulder blades. Drop the right shoulder down. We don't want to hold tension. Pulling on the side of the head gently. I hate to say the word pulling. We don't want to make it pressure. So just a little bit here. And release and open. Good. Take both hands up over your head on an inhale. Drop your shoulders down. On the exhale, bring your right hand down and reach the left hand over. You can start here. If you're sitting on something, you can stay sitting on it or you can pull it out. This might help you go a little deeper. So do what feels good here. Legs can stay crossed. Now when you're here, sometimes we tend to roll forward. Be sure you're rolling open. Open the chest. Reach for the right side of the room. And feel your side body opening, the intercostal cartilage between the ribs. Make sure that left glute is staying on the mat. We don't want to be rolling up like that. We want to be keeping it down. If you want more, come onto your forearm on the right side. Maybe your gaze goes up past the armpit, the bicep. If you can't see past the bicep, that means you're rolling too far forward. Roll open and back. Reach, reach, reach. On your next inhale, come back through center, palms overhead. Exhale, plant the left hand and reach over to your left. Right hand is reaching, making one long line from the tips of the fingers all the way down to your hip. Again, right hip is staying down, the glute is on the mat. And you can gaze up. If you want more, come to your forearm. As you gaze up, roll open. We don't want to be crunching forward. Roll open. Feel the side body open. Side body opening, muscles stretching, making space. Good. On your next inhale, come back through center. We're going to do one more on each side. Exhale, right hand comes down. Maybe you go a little deeper this time, as long as that hip stays. Really reach. Maybe you slide even deeper. Again, go as far as what feels good for you. As long as that hip is down and you're not in pain. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, over to your left. Reach, reach, reach. As you're reaching, opening the side body. Maybe go 1 millimeter deeper. And inhale, come back through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Plant your palms in front of you, come up to all fours. Moving into some cat-cow. So as you're in this position, when you're on all fours, you can have your toes tucked if you want, or tops of the feet are on the mat. Notice that my belly is not dropping down. Pull your navel into your spine. Tuck the tailbone, gazes down. Think of your shoulders rolling down and back. Palms are directly underneath the wrists and the elbows. Hips and knees are stacked. Inhale. Moving into cow pose, drop the belly down. Gaze goes up, shoulders roll down. Tailbone's pointing up. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone, chin comes to your chest. Push away from the mat. Inhale, gaze up. And exhale, press away, arch the spine. Inhale, gaze up. And exhale, cat pose, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest. One more of each. And exhale, arch. Find a neutral spine here. Take your toes, bring your knees together so they're touching. Tucking the toes in, sit your hips back to your heels. Now you can stay here. You're doing a toe stretch. If you want more, you can bring yourself up and sit back onto your heels. If that's too much, you can always take a block or a pillow and sit it between your glutes and your calves or your shin or your heels. Wherever you are, if you're sitting back, sit nice and tall in your spine. You're going to feel your toes ignite pretty quickly here. We're going to cut off circulation to the toes. So once we come out of this, we're going to feel blood flow through, flush out the old, the stale, get the circulatory system moving. To take your mind off of those toes, let's do a little, stay as you are with your toes tucked. Let's do a little bit of eagle pose. Bring your arms out, inhale. On the exhale, bring your right arm underneath the left, so the elbows are locked over each other. You can either bring the backs of the palms together. If that's too much, you can bring your hands to your shoulders, or do a double wrap so your palms meet all the way around. So make sure we get a nice big twist. Now notice when you're here, you're staring at the back of your forearms. Notice your elbows probably want to come down. Try and bring your elbows in alignment with your shoulders. That's going to help open up the shoulder blades. Make space back there. Break up lactic acid that builds up, those knots we get under our scapula, the shoulder blades. If you want to lean back a little bit, give yourself a little back bend. Make space in the spine. Take one more breath here. I know your toes are on fire. And exhale, unravel, bring your hands down. And I want you to slowly come out, untucking the toes. It's going to be very intense. And just tap the tops of your feet slowly. Good, you can scrunch, you can roll out your ankles. Take the tops of the feet, knees are still together, and sit yourself back. Doing a little ankle stretch now. So doing an opposite stretch. You can stay here. If you want more, lean back with your hands. If you want even more, bring your knees up. You might see some snap, crackle, pops come out like I just did. If you want to balance here, bring your arms out in front of you and hold it. Pull your navel into your spine. Look directly at something that's not moving if you're trying to balance. You can also do prayer hands or rest your hands on your knees. Your toes and stretching on the opposite way. Your ankles are opening in the joint spaces. Good. If you're here, bring your hands back down first. If your knees are up, slowly release them down. Take your time. Then press yourself forward. Come back out. Come to all fours. Roll out the ankles. Good. Crunch your toes. Now we get to do it all over again. Your toes should have opened up a little bit since then. So this one might not be quite as intense. We're going to do the same thing though. Knees together, tuck the toes. You can stay here. You can put that block underneath the glutes if you want, or sit all the way up and find the full spot. All right, so as you're here, same thing, let's open the arms again. This time, left arm is coming underneath the right elbow. Again, back of the hands can meet. You can grab opposite shoulders if you want, or find a full bind. Wrap them so the palms meet and are pressing together. Again, notice your elbows. Try and bring them in alignment with the shoulders no matter what your grip is. You should try and get your shoulders and elbows there. Breathe if you want to back bend slightly. Always an option. Giving you plenty of levels and layers for wherever you are in your practice. Take one more deep breath in. Staying for your exhale. Unwind the arms. Bring your hands forward. Go ahead and untuck the toes gently. Tap the tops of your feet once more. Good. When you're ready, switch your hips back. Let's get that stretch one more time for opposition. If you want to stay here, or you can come back, you can lift your knees and you can balance. So find your options here, different layers for everyone. You should feel this in the front of those ankles. Good. If your arms are up, bring them back first to support yourself coming down. Drop the knees. Come forward. Back to all fours. Now we're going to tuck the toes one more time. This time we're moving into a down dog. So tucking the toes, palms are nice and wide. Before you move into a down dog, it's good to always set up appropriately. Making sure hips are over knees and shoulders are over wrists. Your shoulder width distance and hips width distance apart with feet and hands. As you're here, tuck the tailbone and then press yourself up and back. Once you're here, your ears are between the biceps. Palms are nice and wide. Put pressure between the index finger and the thumb. Dig your fingertips into the mat. That's going to help take pressure off the wrists if you have wrist issues. The other option is put blocks under your palms for wrist issues. But the more you grasp and dome up the palm of your hands, the less pressure you'll have on the wrist. Put the pressure, like I said, between thumb and index. Start to pedal out the backs of your legs. So one heel down as you bend one knee and back and forth. Do it slow, gently, take your time. We're just making space in the back of the legs. Your calves are opening, your hamstrings. Again, pressing your chest towards your thighs. Feel that stretch between the shoulder blades. Now take your right heel down as you bend the left knee and just hold the right heel as far down, close to your mat as you can. Maybe you can touch it, maybe you can't. Really press it down. Breathe. You're opening those calves up nicely. Good. Come back. Straighten that left heel down and bend to the right knee. So we're going opposite side. Really press the left heel down. And breathe. Good. Come back up. Both heels rise up. Now we're going to try and get both heels down as close to the mat as you can at the same time. Both legs are straight. If you can't meet the mat, no problem at all. Just try and get it. You're just opening up those legs. Good. Come back to normal, down dog, however that's comfortable for you. Take your left hand and reach for your right ankle. If you can't reach your right ankle, go for the right knee or the outside of the right hip. The main thing we're working on is balancing right now. So the right hand is holding on as the left hand is up to the opposite hip, knee, or ankle. Try and keep your hips squared off and breathe. Building strength in the arms, finding balance. Bring your left palm back down. Other side, take your right hand, go to your right ankle, knee, or the outside of the hip. Again, keep the shoulders squared off. Press your chest toward your thighs. Left hand is keeping stable. Left arm's building strength. You're getting your stabilizer muscles. Pull your navel to spine. And then bring your right hand down. Moving in, inhale, right leg goes high. As your right leg's high, find balance here, three-legged dog. Maybe you come up slightly, maybe you come up fully. Bend your knee, open up the hip. Just feel a nice hip opener here. You might feel this through the hip flexors. The psoas muscle gets a nice stretch. The psoas runs from your lumbar spine down to the front of your hips, attaching the spine to the lower body. Gets really tight from sitting. And on your exhale, bring your right foot to the outside of the right hand. You're in a runner's lunge here. If you want a blanket, we're gonna have our knee down. You're welcome to have a blanket here in a second. So stay here for a moment if you can. If you need to go ahead and drop the knee, that's fine. But if you can stay up here, right shoulder and right knee are by each other, and just kind of maneuver back and forth, just getting a little space in the hips. So straighten the front leg if you can, or just slightly, and just get a little movement. Good. Find yourself in this runner's lunge. Now you can drop the back knee down if it's not already. And you can untuck the toes if you'd like. If you want the toes tucked to protect the knee, that's completely fine. You can stay here, or if you want to find another depth, you can come down to your forearms on a block or a book or a pillow. If you want to go even further, ditch the block, come to your forearms. You can let your head rest on the mat. Find whatever works here. You're opening up though. Notice that I'm not keeping my hips up here. I want to try and melt them down. So straighten that back leg as much as you can. And let those, like I said, the psoas, the hip flexors, all of those open up here. Take deep breaths. Your pelvis is pulling down to the mat. We breathe. Feel a nice deep stretch. I'm going to move into some deep options that you can do, or you can skip. You can stay here, or come up and we're going to move into a half split. So if you're down on your leg or on your forearms, come up. Now we're going to bend back, bring your hips towards your heel and straighten the front leg. Flex your right toes. Now if your right leg's off to the side of the corner of your mat, try and bring it parallel. You want your hips squared off, so pull the right hip back, left hip forward. And you can stay here. If you need to, you can use a block here to keep yourself up. If you have the flexibility, you can come down and bring your nose to your knee. You can bring your hands back behind you for balance. Torso toward the thigh. The other option is to work slowly into a splits. So if splits are in your practice, this is a perfect space to do it. I usually like to start here to stretch the hamstrings first, and then slowly work my way in. But wherever you are, make sure you're flexing those toes, because that's what's going to go all the way up to those hamstrings and give you that deep stretch. So if you want to move into splits, you can start to bring your leg forward, and maybe you're just working on them. You can go slightly. If you're working on it, you can put a block underneath, or a book or a pillow. Make sure your hips are staying square. So you can sit here, flex the front foot. If full splits is in your practice, go ahead and go into it. And again, make sure your hips are squared off. Make sure your front foot is flexing. And this is just a deep layer if you want to try and go into it. No pressure to be there. If you want to fold forward, you can come here. Getting nice deep stretch. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. If you are in a full split, start to bring yourself up. Bend your front knee first, pull it in, come through where we started, a seated half split. And then if you're in the half split, go ahead and just tuck your foot back, come to all fours. Let's meet back where we started. Tuck your toes, down dog. Great job, everybody. Hopefully you're getting nice and open in your hips. Make sure you're taking the layers and levels that work for you. Don't force anything. But also make sure you're trying to go to your edge. Pedal your heels. Notice the back of the legs really opening up. On your next inhale, left leg now goes high. We're going to do the other side. Once you're here, like I said, you could be up slightly. You could be up all the way. You can bend and open. Feel your hip flexors open. This should feel good. Take another breath. And on the exhale, bring your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Find that runner's lunge once again. We're back to where we started, just moving through on the other side. Again, you can drop your back knee down here if you need to. But if you can, stay up for a moment and just kind of bounce back and forth and find that opening in your hips. You can flex the front foot. You can keep the front foot down. You're feeling a stretch in the back of the legs. And this is just going as far as what your body allows. You might not be able to straighten your legs. That's completely fine. You should slowly feel everything start to open though. Good, coming back to that runner's lunge, front knee's bent. Now you drop the back knee down if it's not already. And also you can untuck the toes. If you're worried about the knee, you can keep them tucked. This is the point where you can find a new layer. You can stay here on your palms. If you're giving your palms a break, come to your forearms on a block, or come all the way down to the mat. I want you to stay here for a moment and breathe. And again, notice that my hips are melting down. If you need to let this knee fall out slightly, that's fine. That's just going to open the hips a little more. If you're up here, try and walk yourself forward so your hips start to melt. You want to think of the pelvis just being pulled by gravity naturally. Take some nice deep breaths. Good. We're going to move into that seated half split with an option for full split. If you're down on your forearms, come up. This is where you're going to sit yourself back, straighten the front leg. Again, you can use blocks here or pillows or whatever you have. Now my left leg's a little off to the side, so I pull it into the midline, so it's right in front of me. Square off your hips first. So pull your right hip back, or excuse me, pull your left hip back, right hip forward. Flex those left toes. This can be where you stay, or maybe you're here on a block. Wherever you are, try and keep your back straight and feel yourself pull your torso towards your thigh. Maybe you can come all the way down. And again, if you want to walk your hands back, if you can come down, this will be a balancing. Breathe here. This is a good way to work into your splits if you're trying to work on full splits. If you can't do full splits, this is a great time to start practicing getting into them. Now walk yourself forward. Again, if you want to put a block underneath and you're starting here, that's great. There's 3 levels to your block, so find one that works. Maybe it needs to be lower. And you can use blocks. You can get them really cheap on Amazon. They're great to have if you're working on flexibility. Blocks are everything. That and a strap is nice too. So as you're working your way down, maybe pull the block. You can also hold yourself up or start to work all the way in. Now, if you're all the way in, make sure that front foot is flexing. You're protecting knees. You're on the top of the back foot. And again, you can come forward and fold. Just breathe wherever you are. Inner thigh flexibility, joint opening, getting movement and motion through the hip joints, so important. Take 2 more breaths here. Notice if you're clenching your face. A lot of times when we're working through the hips, we tend to move tension from another space, which is your hips, up to your face and clench your jaw and eyes. Breathe and relax your face. Let everything be relaxing here. Slowly begin to walk yourself up. I want you to take your time coming out of splits. Pull your leg back. If you've got a block, you can remove it. Come back to where we started. Stay there for a moment. And when you're ready, tuck yourself back. Come to all fours. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Down dog. Here we are. Good. Pedal your heels. We're going to walk ourselves forward to a forward fold.
Hands walk up towards the wrists. Nice bend in the knees. So when you're in this pose, we're in ragdoll pose, you want your torso laying on the tops of your thighs here. If this isn't feasible, bend even more. The more you bend, the deeper you'll be able to go. The more you bend, the more you're going to get traction in your spine. The more you straighten, you're going to get more of a hamstring stretch. For right now, let's concentrate on traction in the spine, so keep that bend to start. Your arms are hanging heavy like a rag doll. Head is just hanging. Try not to have tension looking up or to the side. Just let it hang. You can also grab opposite elbows here as your head hangs. And if you want even more traction, clasp your hands and put your pinkies at the base of the skull. That little lump, it's your occipital bone, the back of the base of the skull. And then let your arms just hang. You might get a couple little snap, crackle, pops out of your mid-back. You can waver left to right. If you want to open the shoulders, clasp your hands together behind the back and then let them fall over. Keeping that bend in the knees for now. We'll work through that in a moment. Just concentrating on your spine and your shoulders. Make sure your head is hanging, no tension in the neck. We don't want to crick the neck. Good, relax yourself down. Arms are hanging heavy. Moving into a gorilla pose. This is where you can start to open the backs of the legs if you'd like. Gorilla pose, you're taking your palms and going under each ball of each foot. So the palms in the ball of the foot. The ball of the foot's inside the palm. And your toes are touching the backs of your wrists. Now, you can bend the knees like you were and let your elbows just hang out to the side like gorillas. If you want to get that hamstring stretch, let your head hang heavy and straighten the legs. Again, this is the next level, so it depends if you want to go here, or you can keep the legs bent. Then you can start to pull your nose and your torso towards your legs with your legs bent. Let the elbows just relax and bend. Maybe you waver forward and feel the balls of the feet put pressure on the wrists and hands, little massage. If you go too far though, you will be somersaulting and you can't stop it. Good, release your hands out from under your wrists. From here, we're gonna slowly begin to come up. As we come up, I want you to let your arms hang heavy, your head hang heavy. I'm gonna count it out and your head's gonna be the last thing to come up. On your next inhale, start to come up. Everything's heavy. Rolling up like you're going through molasses. For 4, 3. Head's the last thing for 2. Shoulders down and back on the 1. Bring your head up and just kind of roll the shoulders out and back. Good. You should feel good standing up. Roll shoulders. Good. We made it up. So we worked on some eagle arms earlier with our toe stretch. So we've got our shoulders a little more open. We're going to do a full eagle pose. In a full eagle pose, we'll be doing wraps with our legs and our arms. Option, I'll give lots of options as we go. So inhale your arms up. We're going to find some balance here. On the exhale, take your right arm and go underneath the left. Same thing we did in our seated toe stretch. Now, if you can't reach your palms, remember you can do backs of the palms or reach for opposite elbow or shoulders. Staying right here, sit down like you're sitting into a chair. Elbows are in alignment with the shoulders. So we're sitting down. Take your right leg, cross it over the left. Find something to concentrate and balance. You can stay here or you can kickstand. Bring that toe down to help with balance. Make sure you're facing to the front of the room, hips are squared off. Full 1 is wrapping all the way around, double. So that toe reaches back around your calf. If you can't reach, the further you sit, the deeper you'll be able to go in twisting. Elbows up, breathe. If you feel like you're falling, squeeze your body together. Squeeze your palms, squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your legs. For 4, 3. Sit a little deeper for 2. On the 1, come up, release, shake it out.
Good. Same thing on the other side. So again, whenever we're balancing, anytime you feel like you're falling, if you pull everything into your midline, think of everything scrunching together, it's really going to help your balance. So inhale, arms up. Same thing, exhale, left arm underneath the right, maybe the back of the palms, maybe the shoulders, maybe full eagle arms. Good. Once you've made this, try and get your elbows in alignment with the shoulders. Sit down like you're in a chair. Left leg crosses over. Maybe it holds up, maybe you kickstand. If you want full expression, sit a little deeper and wrap the toes. If you want to work on balance even more, lift the elbows, sit deeper. Maybe your gaze is at the back of your forearms. That's a definite challenge. Try looking at your forearms, see if you can stay up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 4. Lift your elbows for 3. Sit a little deeper for 2. And inhale, come out. Arms up and open. Maybe a little back bend. Exhale, come down. Shake it out. Good. Eagle is definitely very challenging. That's a really challenging pose. So that's a good one to work on. And I like that there's layers for it, so you can work your way up. Moving in, we're going to go to a warrior 3. So you can face long ways on your mat if you want. If you want, you can have blocks underneath or books or something if you'd like. I'll show you some different options when working on balance for warrior 3. So take your right knee and bend it. Once you're here, and you can always stay here if you want to work on balance here, 90-degree bend, flex the right foot, palms at heart center. This is a great space to balance. You're going to get a lot of work on the ankle. If you want to move into warrior 3, start to tick-tock forward. Kick the foot back. Gaze is down. Flex the back foot. And try and parallel your body with the mat. Roll your big toe in. So notice my hips are squared off. I'm not rolled open. Your toes are rolled inward toward the midline. Hands stay at heart center. Gaze is down. Now you can have blocks in front of you if you want to work on balance here. You can grab onto the blocks. Ignite your glute, flex the foot like you're kicking through the back wall. Hands can be at heart center. Pull your navel to spine. If you want to go airplane arms, you can go back. If you want to go full warrior 3, bring your arms up in front of you, biceps by the ears. For 4, 3, we're going to come back through where we started for 2. Come up on the 1, bend the right knee, find balance where we started. And release it down. Good. Nice. So you can do the same thing. We're going to go on the other side, working on that balance. Again, blocks are down there. See how it feels on this side. Notice each side feels a little different. So this side you might feel more balanced, or you might be shakier. This is my weak side. This is the side I tend to feel a little shakier on. So bend here. Concentrate on something that's not moving. Always start in one space and move back layer by layer if you're working on balance. Stay here or start to kick back. Tick-tock forward, kick through the back wall, gaze is down, shoulders down and back. Flex the foot, ignite the glute, roll the big toe into the midline. Good. Stay here or grab your blocks. If you're working on your balance, try and get parallel. If you want even more, airplane the arms out and back. Fullest expression, biceps by the ears. Reach forward for 4. Pull your navel to your spine for 3. Coming up how we came in for 2. Start to come up, bend the knee. Balance, balance, balance. Left knee up. And release it down, shake it out, roll out your ankles. Hopefully everybody's feeling good with that. Warrior 3 and Eagle are both difficult, but are great because there's different layers for each one. All right. Let's take our arms up. Inhale. Palms up overhead, kind of how we started at the beginning of class, but now we're standing. We're gonna get some side body stretches. As you're here, shoulders are dropping down. On the exhale, bring your right arm down, left arm reaches over. We did this seated. Now we're doing it standing, toes are together. Gaze is up past the armpit if you can. Remember, we don't want to roll forward. Roll open, shoulders are parallel. See how far you can reach. Push your hips to the left side of the room. Feel an opening. Pressure in the left foot. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale. Use those obliques, come through center. Palms meet overhead, shoulders drop down. Exhale, reach over to the left. The left arm goes down the left thigh. Right arm reaches. Same thing. Gaze up past the right arm. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Right hip is pointing out to the right side. Notice the bend you're getting. Notice the side body opening you're getting. Good. On your next inhale, use your obliques. Inhale, come back through center. On the exhale, let's find a back bend. Palms are gonna come to the low spine. That flat part, your sacrum, press forward. Squeeze your elbows together. Press. Legs can stay straight. So you can get a little crack here. Let your head fall back if it's okay on the neck. Really open the front body. Inhale, come back through center. Arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. We're going to move through that one more time, see how much deeper we can open. Side bodies and back should be getting pretty open. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, right arm to right thigh. Reach up first with that left arm as you rainbow over. Remember, don't roll forward. Keep yourself squared off. Shoulders are square. Gaze up past your armpit to make sure your shoulders are back. Reach, reach, reach. Left foot's down. Hip is pointing out to the left side. Use your obliques. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, left side. Left arm goes down the thigh. Right arm reaches. Right side body opener. Gaze up past the right side of your bicep. Toes and feet are together. Feel that side body open. Breathe. Next, inhale, come back through center. Finding that back bend. Option this time, you can cactus arm back bend like so. If you're feeling open, if you want the pressure or the support so you don't have too much pressure, bring the arms back. So find what works. Let your head hang. Inhale, back through center. Arms up overhead. Exhale to heart. Breathe. Big breath in through the nose. Fill up. Open mouth. Exhale, let go. One more time. Inhale. Open mouth. Exhale, let it go. Good. Bring your feet about a little wider than hip width distance. Toes are going to be 45-degree angle. You're about to the edges of your mat, depending on how big your mat is. Once you're here, we're going to sit into Malasana Squat. Option for pillows or blocks here, or to stay on the balls of your feet. We're going to sit nice and deep. If you need to, you can put your hands down first, then come into it. If you're working on strength, you can just sit down. Try and keep your back straight. Elbows to the inner thighs. Now, if you want to use the block, this is where a block can come in handy for you to sit on here and still get a nice opening in the hips. So find what layer works. The other thing is if you're on your toes like this, some of us don't have ankle mobility or the strength or the openings in our ankles to go all the way down. So you can be on the balls of your feet. Find balance. Press your elbows to the inner thighs if you can. Palms are pressing and pressing against the chest. Sit up tall through the spine. We don't want to be hunched forward with our neck. Try and sit up as tall as you can. Ignite everything. Shoulders are down. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. On your next inhale, you can either put your palms down first to come up, or you can use the strength of your legs. We're going to move into Starfish Pose. Inhale, come all the way. Open, open, open. And exhale, hands to heart center. Bring your feet back together. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold with a flat back. Notice how flat my back stays. Toes are touching, hold here. You're making a 7 with your body. So your hands can go back. They can be out to the sides. Think of swan arms. Once you're here, slowly begin to come down, bring your hands, bend the knees. And we're gonna sit onto our heels. Good. We're gonna do one more for the quads that is gonna be nice. This is a nice option for if you need blocks or a pillow, if you have knee problems. So we're gonna start with single leg hero. Now, you can use a block underneath your glutes if this hurts the knees. Your left heel is gonna be on the outside of your left hip. Right leg is long. So if you're here and that's hurting, sit yourself up and get a block or a pillow there. That's gonna take pressure off that knee. If you have the mobility to do it and it's not pinching in your knees, sit here. My knees are touching, the heel's on the outside of my thigh. We're not sitting on the heel. You can stay here, flex your right foot. If you want more, come to your forearms. This is just half hero. If you want full half hero, come here. You can bring your arms up overhead. Feel a stretch here. If you want even more, bend that right knee. You can stay here. Or take your hands and pull that right knee in. Again, make sure you're not pinching in the knee. There's no pain. Breathe. You can roll out that ankle if your right foot's up. Lots of layers. Good. If you're holding your knee, release it. Straighten that leg. Hands push up on your elbows first, then to your palms. Roll to the outside of your right leg. And as you do that, straighten the left one. Come out and back down. Good. Other side, right knee tucks. Remember, the right heel is on the outside of the right hip. Again, block. Maybe you have one knee that has a problem, the other one doesn't, so you don't have to be on the block on both sides. See what works for you. Left leg is long. Flex the left foot, protecting the knee always. Okay, knees are touching. Stay here. That might be deep enough, or you can start to work your way back. Maybe you come here. Maybe you come to your elbows. Maybe you come all the way down. Maybe you bring your arms up. Recline half hero. And again, if you want even more, bend the left knee. And if you want even more, pull the left knee in. You're gonna really feel that opening on the right side, very tight for a lot of people. If you're not tight here, that is great. That means you're stretching a lot. I'm always tight in the hip flexors. Again, those hip flexors go from the front of your abdomen down through the thigh, your psoas muscles, all that stuff gets so tight. Take one more breath here. Open mouth, exhale. Wonderful. Release that leg down, straighten it. Go ahead and pull yourself up to your elbows first. Roll off to the left side, and then allow the left leg or the right leg to straighten. Come back, push yourself up, and we're here. Sit up nice and tall. Feet are flexed, legs are together. This is where you can use a strap for this stretch if you'd like. We're working on flexibility here and stretching. We want to slowly reach for our toes. And what a lot of people tend to do here is this. They reach for their toes and they're going like this and their chin is tucked in, you're straining your neck, you're doing no stretching. We're working on the back of the legs here, not the spine. So what we want to do is keep the spine long and tall and reach out. And maybe you can only go to here. If you want, bend your knees before anything and then reach forward. Try and get your torso to your thighs. Then maybe you slowly start to walk your feet away. But if you do that, make sure your spine is staying straight. We don't want to do this to reach, remember. So if you can reach your toes, you could also use a strap if you want to keep the legs straight. If you can get your torso to touch your thighs, then you can start to relax the head. But if your torso is not touching the thighs, keep yourself long and tall in the spine. If you're trying to go deeper, take a block behind your feet and reach behind it. Then let your head come down. Breathe and relax. Flex your feet. That's going to get the backs of your legs nice and open. Hamstrings and calves. Stay here for a few breaths. Then I'm going to move you into a full hero's pose. I just want to give your knees a little rest in between. 2 more deep breaths, nice, long, and slow. Lips are sealed for the inhale. Open the mouth on the exhale. Every time you inhale, maybe you sit up slightly. And when you exhale, maybe you pull a little deeper. When you're ready, start to work yourself up if you're all the way down. Nice flat back. Moving into a double hero's pose. So this time both knees are going to be bent back. Again, if you have knee problems, utilize your block. Knees are touching. Feet are going to go out to the sides like that. So not like this, but that. Knees are together. This is where a block can go, or a pillow. That's going to take pressure off your knees. Again, heels are on the outside of the thighs or the hips. Knees touch. Now your knees are going to want to come apart. Now if you take that block out and sit down between, squeeze the legs together to protect. This is the same thing. You can lean back. If you want more, come to your forearms. Squeeze the knees. And if you want even more, come back. And your arms can go up overhead. If this is still not enough, start to press the tops of your feet into the mat and lift your glutes and squeeze them together as you squeeze your knees. And feel yourself open up through the front body. So your glutes are off the mat as you squeeze your legs together, press through the tops of the feet. Deep breaths. These are all just options for layers and things to make your way to. Go ahead and release your glutes down if you're lifting. Bring your hands, step back up towards your heels. Press up with your elbows, then your palms. Now we've cut off the circulation from the lower legs. So what we're going to do is bring ourselves out in just a second. So sit here for a moment. Once we bring ourselves up, I'm going to have you in down dog and you'll feel just blood flush through to your toes. Should feel really nice. Go ahead and bring your hands down. Come to all fours to start. Tuck the toes. Down dog. Feel the blood come down. Pedal your heels for a moment. Hopefully you feel that nice little rush if you got into hero's pose. Good. Straighten both legs for a moment like we did at the beginning of class. Press your chest towards your thighs. Let the head hang heavy. Try and melt both heels toward the mat as much as you can. If they don't touch, no biggie. Just go until you feel a deep stretch. And bring your knees back down. Cross your legs out in front of you. Straighten out. Bend your knees to start here actually while we roll down. So as you're rolling down, tuck your chin to your chest, arms out to the sides, roll yourself down. One vertebrae at a time, head's the last thing to meet. Now hug your knees in, rock left to right. Give yourself a low back, little massage. Good, stay right here, knees stay together. Cactus your arms out to the side or tee them out to the side so they're in alignment with your shoulders. Take a breath in. Have your knees at a 90-degree angle. And on the exhale, let both knees fall out to the left, a low back twist. Good. Try and keep the right shoulder down as the legs go to the left. You don't want that shoulder to roll up. We're defeating the purpose of the spinal twist. So maybe keep your legs up if that keeps the shoulder down, but you want to feel the twist in the low back. Knees are stacked. You're up on the left hip. Gaze to your right. Good. On your next inhale, use those obliques. Roll your legs back to the center. 90-degree bend. This time let legs are going to fall over to your right. Try and keep the left shoulder down. Supine twist, maybe you get a little snap, crackle, pop. Flex your feet, gaze to your left. Again, notice the shoulders are down, the left shoulder's down, and the knees are falling to the right. Breathing. Good, on your next inhale, come back through center. Child's pose, happy baby. Grab the bottoms of your feet with both hands. Bend your knees. If you can't reach your feet, grab for your ankles or the back of the thighs. Wherever you are, you can grab and just rock left to right. Try and keep the tailbone rolling down flat on the mat. Now you can rock left to right, giving yourself a little massage. If you want to straighten the legs out, one at a time or both, you can. And then release. Bring your knees into your chest. Pull your head up towards your knees. Squeeze into a little ball. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, release out to Shavasana. When you move into Shavasana, this is an important pose of class. It's the space where your body begins to release and relax from the work you put in. It begins to have muscle memory as to what you've done. Your muscles begin to relax. Your jaw relaxes. Your tongue relaxes in your mouth. Eyes are resting in their sockets. Feet fall naturally out. I'll bring you back in just a couple minutes, nothing too long, just enough for your body to settle. Take a couple breaths here. Rescan your body as you did at the beginning of class and notice what's changed, what's opened. As you begin to slowly awaken the body, you can roll out the wrists. You can roll out the ankles. Massage your head back and forth, left to right on your mat. And when you're ready, bring your arms overhead for a nice good morning stretch or good evening stretch. Reaching your toes in opposite direction from your hands. Big breath in. And on the exhale, roll over to your left or right side. And slowly push yourself up to a seated position. As you're seated here, bring your hands to heart center. Your eyes are closed. Bow your head. Think of the practice you just went through. What you did for yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Bring yourself clarity, allowing your body to open up, and joining a space with people from all over the world. Bring your thumbs up to third eye center, the space of intuition and open-mindedness. Open-minded with ourselves, open-minded to one another. Bowing forward. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed class. You feeling more open than when you started?